Oh, hi. Welcome to episode 71 of the Just Gaming Tingz Podcast. We're just a bunch of queers talking about gaming things. Who would have thought? Oh my goodness. My name is Ruby, joining you here today with the lovely Koga Jingles. Hi.
Hello.
that was
Greetings.
that was giving Kermit the Frog. And I live for
The
it.
voice acting talent.
I know, like we live, we stand, we love.
Recording for Koga's demo reel right now for voice acting
The
gigs.
voice acting.
Yes. Honestly, I'm into it. Not the worst that we've ever seen on this intro. Honestly, we've done worse, and when I say we, I mean me and Spin have done worse. Speaking of which, hi Spin.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, hi. Wonderful to see you here.
Wonderful to be here.
Yes, yes. Well, we have been out of commission for about a week or two. Listen, we don't.
It
We don't.
Is it even real? Let's discuss.
Let's talk about it. No,
I would argue no.
no, but we are going to catch a little bit. We're going to catch up a little bit on a couple major news stories since we've been out and about doing our thing. And one of them was the elusive PlayStation Plus upgrade question mark coming soon. So the conversations have been happening for a while. Is PlayStation gonna compete with Game Pass? They said no. We didn't believe them, and then they updated their service. It's coming in June, just in time for Pride. They said Happy Pride. Here's a new service.
Fine.
So they are essentially merging what we know currently as PlayStation Plus with PlayStation Now, and they turned it into a multi-tier situation. So let's break it down in a pretty easy way. So we have PlayStation Plus Essential, which provides the same benefits that PlayStation Plus members are getting today, such as the 2 monthly downloadable games, discounts, cloud storage for saved games, and online multiplayer access. So if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, $9.99 per month, this is the same deal. PlayStation Plus Extra includes all of the previous benefits, plus a catalog of up to 400 asterisk of the most enjoyable PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games, including blockbuster hits from the PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in the extra tier are downloadable for play. So that one is $14.99 a month, dollars. They have the currencies listed out for Europe, United Kingdom, and Japan. So feel free to browse on their PlayStation blog if you want it updated to your region. And then last but certainly least, no, I'm just kidding. We have the PlayStation Plus Premium asterisk asterisk, which provides all the benefits from the essential and extra tiers, adds up to 340 asterisk additional games, including PlayStation 3 games via cloud streaming, a catalog of beloved classic games available on both streaming and download options from the original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, and PSP generations. Offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games offered in the extra and premium tiers in markets, asterisk, asterisk, where PlayStation Now is currently available. Customers can stream games using PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC, triple asterisk. Time-limited game trials will also be offered in this tier, so customers can try select games before they buy. This tier will be $17.99 per month. Um, and they essentially have, for different markets that don't have cloud streaming, they have a different service called PlayStation Plus Deluxe, where it's a lower price in comparison to premium, excuse me. But all the games are downloadable, and I don't think it includes any PS3 games because apparently those are only available for streaming. So that was a lot of information dump, lore dump at the beginning of the stream. Lots of asterisks, lots of different ways of, I would say, creative ways of disclosing the games or not disclosing the games that will be included. But Koga, first impressions, initial reactions. What was your initial reaction when you saw this unveiling?
Well, it would have been disappointment if I had high hopes, but I didn't have high hopes, so I can't say I was that disappointed that it was just they just moved things around. First of all, I gotta talk about one big issue if you're someone that this applies to. If you're someone who used their streaming service to play games on PC, that just went up like $8. I think it was like $10 a month, and unless they're changing that right now, it's going to be you're not gonna have to pay like the 18 a month and get the premium. The service still sucks, so I don't know why I pay more for that, but whatever. To be honest, the extra to me feels like it's just something you expect, like with marketing, as if it's there, but they kind of want you to get the premium, and it exists there to show you, like, okay, this is what you could get at this price, but you spend a little bit more, which is what, like $3 more, you get this much more there. So the extra, I mean, it's an option, but more than likely, quite a few people are probably going to get the Plus Premium. So, I mean, it's nice that I guess they're going to have more games for people to play and download and whatnot. The PS3 only available through the cloud streaming. That's ass. That's going to be ass until they start putting that downloadable. I know that some people say like it's a bit difficult for them to do because of the PS3. However, Sony can figure that out. I wouldn't say easily. It's going to take work. I know some people feel that you need like a very powerful PC to run PS3 games on an emulator. No, you don't. Just don't fuck with the settings and don't try to up the frame rate and the resolutions. You really, really don't. Sony could figure all that out. They're just probably not going to. But if you're telling me a PlayStation 5 can't run a PS3 games, I don't believe it. Like, I have two. There's one over here that can play some of quite a few of them, and it's like, it's about like PS4 level. So they're not doing. I mean, I get why they don't want to invest into it, probably, but it sucks. So when it comes to the PlayStation, the other ones, there's quite a few of them. So some of them are going to be through streaming. I personally don't care about that. Like I said, their streaming service, as far as I'm concerned, is ass. But for download, it'd be interesting to know what will be downloadable. And is this going to be like Nintendo, where it's like there's a service and you can't buy them outright, and it's just you got to have the service to play them, or we're going to be able to buy them separately? I think they're just going to probably just put it behind a paywall because they didn't mention anything of making them separate. So I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to get it because if you're on PlayStation, it is an upgrade. But I mean, yeah, if you compare to Xbox Game Pass, no.
Right.
Like it's just not for me personally, because one, I get new games that they come out like day one. Then there's a bunch of other games that I get on top of that. And then there's their streaming, which I mean, theirs isn't the greatest thing either. I'm not gonna act like theirs is like the best. It's not. But I mean, it's there, and I get that for like $15 a month. Though Microsoft doesn't offer a yearly plan, which I guess this is where Sony kind of beats them at, is that there is a yearly plan, which for $100 a month you get that, which honestly isn't. Wait, nope, hold up, that was the extra one. I'll go back down, go back down. You, 120 yearly, which isn't too bad if that's something you're going to do. But some people like to pay in increments rather than all up front. So, I mean, like I said, it's not terrible, but it's just for me, there's just not as much value as Game Pass, and I look at that not because I prefer Xbox, because this is gonna, if I were to get this, it's gonna cost me more than Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and I don't feel like I'm getting like that same amount of value there. But it also just depends on what games they're gonna put on there. They haven't listed any of these older games they're putting on there yet, so that depends, because they have like a lot of games they could put on there that would be great, but we don't know yet. So we know when that comes out, but just looking at it, it's not awful. It's just not great, but I can see a lot of people getting it because, I mean, like I say, if you're on PlayStation, it's like, it's the best you're going to get for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Scene.
think that
Yeah.
like it really interested me, especially like hearing about the stuff they're including in premium, because it almost seems like instead of trying to compete with Game Pass, they're trying to compete, like, come for Nintendo's gig with like their new expansion pass. I do like really hope that they add like a bunch of cool like PS1 games and PS2 games that like you can't get anymore on it. Like that would be something that would entice me to like get into it. Like even over, potentially over like the Nintendo expansion, because with the Nintendo expansion it's like what they include like a few games at a time, like 2 or 3 games at a time.
Right.
But with this it's sounding like there's going to be, my hope at least is that there's going to be a lot of like good PS1 PS2 games. That's going to be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting to see what exactly they add to it. I don't, like I said, I don't think this is going to be like take over and become the new Game Pass. Like they're not doing day one first party releases, and like I wasn't really expecting for them to, because like they've said loads of times they're not going to do day one first party releases.
Right. Yeah.
So I just feel like it's kind of clownish to hope for that at this point. But it basically it didn't like blow me out of the water, but I'm just kind of like, this could be interesting, you know? I'm keeping my eye out. I'm keeping my peepers peeping.
Keep the peepers peeping.
Mhm.
My initial reaction was just very curious, just curiosity, because they, like Spin mentioned, they, this whole time since Game Pass became a thing, every time they were asked about it, they were like, "Oh, we don't want to compete against Game Pass. That's just a format that just isn't feasible for us to do. We like the working relationships we have with our partners. They like things as they are." And they never said that they were going to change that. So in a way, this is very much like, yeah, we told you we're not competing with Game Pass. But at the same time, I do think it is a mistake to kind of, in my opinion, do a version that's almost like a half-assed mixture of the Nintendo online service and the Game Pass service, because the positive that I love that it's singular. The one positive. The positive about the Nintendo service is that the games are not going anywhere. So when they tell you that game A, B, C, and D are joining the service, they're not leaving the service unless the service completely disintegrates. The negative, again, the one negative I would say about Game Pass is the fact that games, unless they're a first party title, they are going to interchange, and it does take them a long time to like leave the service. It's not like a game stays there for like a month and then it's gone, but it does have that sense, like if you're into a particular game or a particular franchise and you know it's not a first party situation, there's a sense of urgency that people may feel, because they're like, oh, this is not going to stay here forever. But again, it is very similar of like the Netflix format, where people know that things are going to leave, but they kind of take it for granted kind of thing. But with this, it seems like the games are not going to stay there forever unless, you obviously claim your 2 monthly downloadable games, which, is not a bad service. Like the PS Plus service is not bad per se. Um, but it I don't know. I don't like the idea. It doesn't seem like they're very confident with their lineup, because if they were, they would have already kind of hinted at it or announced something. But with this, they're like, our diverse portfolio of games, our most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games. And it's like, who is deciding
Most
what?
enjoyable asterisk.
I don't know,
Right.
because you got to remember they released a PlayStation Classic, and that lineup wasn't great.
I wouldn't say that the lineup was the most enjoyable PS1 games from that, so I have a hard time trusting their judgment on what the most enjoyable games, especially, I guess at this point they don't have to include like day one stuff. Like obviously there's a lot of first party games that came out a while ago that are great and they could include in the service, but it just always rubbed me the wrong way getting those emails like, oh, like God of War is coming to PS now, and then asterisk like, and it's leaving like in a couple months, and it's like, why? It's your game. Like, why are you getting rid of? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, because if there's something that we know about the Game Pass format is that there are people who have Game Pass and still will buy the games on Game Pass because they like owning the games. Like, two things can be correct at the same time. It's like if I watch a movie on Netflix and I really, really like it and I want like a Blu-ray of it, unless, it's a Netflix exclusive, but that's another story. But, I can always like buy the movie and have it for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where like there are the crowd that has these services to kind of try out games, and then once they kind of get a feel for them, they can be like, okay, cool, I'll buy it. It just seems silly to me, honestly. And like for people who are like, oh, Sony just can't afford to do it because they're not Microsoft. Mama, they're a billion-dollar company. Like they're not scrapping for money. They're not on a paycheck to paycheck situation. They're not like struggling to keep the lights on in the PlayStation building. Like,
I
come on
love
now.
whenever people like act like these big mega corporations are just like their buddy Joe down the road. It's like
Yeah.
they're Sony. They've got money. Don't worry about them. They're fine.
Yeah, they could do it. They just don't want to, despite the fact that they had the audacity to try to charge y'all $70 for Gran Turismo 7 and then add microtransactions after the reviews came in. But hey, they're struggling out here.
We refer to our microtransactions episode. They will never learn, apparently. I am curious about the lineup. I really am, because like there, like the
What comes down to.
nostalgic, yeah, the nostalgia in me. I've always been a PlayStation girly. Like I still have my PS2, my PS3, my PSP, my PS4. So obviously there's a level of nostalgia there where I'm like, oh, I wonder what games they're gonna be adding. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, do I want to pay almost $20 for that when I'm a resourceful person, let's just say that. So, I also don't like that the time limited game trials are in the higher tier, because trying a game is also like an accessibility thing. Like some people like don't know if they can literally play a game until they try it. And like if you're a service, like PlayStation, that doesn't offer refunds unless the game is completely fucked, like Cyberpunk, they like you're fucked. Like you buy a game and you're like, well, I guess I'm keeping this piece of shit. So it's like I wish that some of these were kind of shifted around so that it wouldn't be like at the highest tier. Even like I feel like some of the nostalgia shouldn't necessarily be at the highest tier, because I feel like now they're gonna have another argument to be like, see, people don't like nostalgia that much because they didn't buy it. No, because you made it expensive. Like, it's not that people don't want it, it's that you made it the most expensive tier. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going off on a little rant. Do we have any closing thoughts on maybe, you know, how you think this service could be improved in such a way that you would maybe get it? Or like maybe what would be factors or maybe even games in the lineup that would be like, oh, bitch, I have to get it. Are there
Mario
some...
Damacy. Katamari Damacy or we riot.
I mean, I'm trying to think of games because there's a lot. It just really depends on the lineup of the older games. But for me, it depends on, is it going to be downloadable or do I have to stream? Because if I have to stream, that's an automatic red flag because it's not that great. I really don't like streaming games, and by that I mean their services, not on Twitch.
It seems like the cloud streaming exclusivity is only for PS3. So yeah. For PS1 and others, I'm just going to say PS1 and up, you'll get the option to do either, which is nice.
I mean, if it's an option for both, then that's great, as long as they don't like slap it behind that. But I mean, it depends on like what they put on there, and some of them may be like, it's hard. I'm trying to think of first party stuff that had back then, because a lot of that stuff went like multiplat. Like Crash Bandicoot is now all over the place. Ridge Racer, I don't think that's even much of a thing as much nowadays.
Yeah, like Spyro is also not a PlayStation property. I mean, I feel like they would have to include like Tomb Raider, like the original ones.
Oh yeah.
I feel like, but then again, this is the conversation that we had for the PlayStation Classic, and where were they?
Yeah. Give me the bouncer for PlayStation 2. Squaresoft Phoenix, if you ever remember that game.
Final Fantasy Tactics. Give it to me. Especially if you're gonna have the PSP version, which is like the better version, or like the more updated version, I guess. It would be nice to have like, again, like I don't know why I'm like stuck in the Square Enix stuff, but I'm like, I want Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII on the service.
Yeah, they used to release a lot of stuff back then, so I mean,
right?
Yeah, I would like to see like Crisis Core. I actually like that, though. I never played it in English.
Ooh, I'm like thinking of, oh yeah, like obviously like Jack and Dexter, like they had like their fun little PSP moments that I feel like not a lot of people got into. Like I'm very interested in the PSP part of it, because I'm like, what are they gonna do? Like, because the PSP was such like a quirky little obscure girly, that I'm like very interested to see what they're gonna include. Definitely, I mean, I have to represent for my bestie Passion's Planet, and say Little Big Planet. Get all of
Although
those
it's
games.
a PS3 game.
I know, yeah.
So
there was I thought there was one on
interesting.
PSP, or was it Vita?
I think
there was a PSP one, or Vita? There might have been one on each.
I don't know.
Probably. I also love that they managed to find another way to say fuck the PS Vita, because it's not included at all in this. And I feel like the 5 games that they released on there could have made their way here. So it's
not that many games to port over. Come on.
It's kind of camp. Like when I saw the full list and I saw no Vita, I was like, I love that they made this another opportunity to be like, fuck the Vita.
So no Vita?
Well, anyway, it should be interesting. Oh, they did say, I forgot to mention, they do say that they have plans to include Death Stranding, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Mortal Kombat 11, and Returnal. So those are definitely going to be included. But again, I feel like most of us are just like, okay, but what about the old shit? What are you going to, which ones are you going to get out of the vaults? Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I want to know.
Right. Definitely let us know what you think in the chat if you're watching this on Twitch, in the YouTube comments if you're watching it later, or in our socials if you're listening. And, you know, obviously the streaming services for podcasts don't have a comment section. So, you know, just add us on Twitter or something. Well, on to a little bit of a sad moment, I guess. I don't know. E3 2022 has been officially canceled, but they do plan to come back in 2023, which a lot of people aren't really talking about. They're just like, "Oh my God, PS3, like E3 is dead." And it's like, okay, they're just taking a hiatus. Don't worry.
It's 1 year.
It's
It was
1
canceled in
year.
2022. Like,
Was that one last year?
Yeah.
yeah, there was one last year because like we covered it, but there
Yeah.
wasn't one in 2020.
We cover a lot.
True.
We need to give ourselves more credit. We're always like, oh, you know, like we missed 1 week of the podcast and we're like, you know what? We are rotten. And it's like, no, we do a lot on this show, okay? We try our best here in the middle of a
Fairly
pandemic.
comprehensive.
Truly. But yeah, this is the second year, not in a row, but this is the second year of no E3 moment. And yeah, they just announced that it wasn't gonna happen. So yeah. Jeff Keighley decided to come out of the woodwork and say, you know, so excited to say that the Summer Game Fest is still happening. Like fully redirecting everyone to his show, which, to be fair, I feel like if you're E3 and like the event is, I feel like a lot of the E3 importance and relevance over the years was the fact that obviously starting in 1995, like that was the one way for press to like access like new information. And obviously it was literally supposed to be like, it was essentially an investors meeting for the press at first until they actually made it like an event. And so I definitely don't blame them for like looking at like a show or like, you know, looking at literally what everyone else is doing and be like, yeah, like it's not financially cute for us to put on like a thing and like hire hosts and like do a whole thing when like we're literally just hitting play on our video player and like, you know what I mean? Like people are just submitting videos anyway, and like there's not like a crowd and any of that's like, I definitely understand that they're like, you know what, it's probably cheaper for everyone involved if everyone just does their own thing, and like there isn't much of a need for us to kind of be there. But I don't know, I always think it's cute to like, I think E3 for us, like people who kind of cover gaming, I think it's an easy way for us to get like everything kind of condensed to like, okay, everything is happening within 3 days. Lovely. We love to see it. And when we look at the Summer Game Fest, it's like instead of 3 days, you have 3 months where things are kind of scattered throughout, and you're just kind of like, what are we reacting to? What is gonna be like a big deal, and what isn't gonna be a big deal? Like it's a lot, but at the same time, it's probably best for every party involved, especially because, you know, I feel like every time there is like an in-person like event, there like a bunch of the attendees are like, well, I got COVID, so it's like, oh gee, who would have thought that a big gathering of people would lead to several of them catching a very transmittable virus.
Imagine.
Do y'all think this is the death of a huge gaming staple, or do you think people are just being dramatic?
No, they'll be back next year.
It's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. There's other things you can worry about in the world. Like, if anything, like it's gonna make our summer scheduling for like podcast and like news coverage a little more chaotic. So
For
we have that,
sure.
but you'll see more of us. So you have that to look forward to.
And we're always gonna have something to talk about, which is great.
Yeah, I really don't mind it being like more decentralized like that. Because like yeah, I feel like it helps me remember more of the things instead of it just being like a big blur for like a weekend.
Mm-hmm. And I always feel like, at least if I'm like recalling to like last year's E3, I feel like a lot of the highlights that I personally had were actually outside of E3. Like it was like the indie presentations, or
Yeah.
I mean, there was like, I do vaguely remember the Xbox presentation being a highlight as well. But like Sony didn't attend, so I think it was like one of those things where like it's probably good to not have like one entity, which I mean, we have Summer of Games, like whatever, but it's good to not have like a one entity corporation being like in charge of it all, and instead I feel like publishers and such can just like be like, everyone is looking out for games, it's my time to put out a video, and you never know what will hit, you never know what will be like a standout. So in that way I think it's cute, but yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah,
Not
and I
really.
feel like people should have been like being safe about COVID this whole time and like not having in-person events. Like
Right.
every time I see any kind of in-person event, I'm just like, like
Yeah.
it's still not safe. Like
Mhm.
clearly.
Yeah.
No, plus I mean, even if E3 isn't here this year, I mean, usually, I mean, for me, I watch it for the announcements. They'll more than likely just announce it on like Twitter or something else anyway. Which I mean, that's what I'm there for. So if that happens somewhere else and it ain't E3, I don't care. Really don't. I just watch it for that stuff. And if,
Right.
so it's like it ain't happening this year. They'll just do it somewhere else. Like I mean, I don't look at Nintendo. They just make their own directs and let you know like maybe like 10 hours beforehand.
Literally. Like the day before, like at like 5 a.m. or whatever, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're doing like a Pokemon thing, I guess," and it's like announcing the new generation. You're like, "What?" Like you're just gonna drop that like in like a random fucking Tuesday at like 10 in the morning? Like, what are you doing?
I literally woke up to a picture of Sprigatito and I was just like, is somebody's doing like their like fan art OC Pokemon? I'm like, oh cool. And then I just kept seeing all the new starters and I was like, oh there was a Pokemon thing.
There was a Pokemon thing. That's funny. That's honestly Twitter. Whenever like there's an event, like there's announcements or anything, and you don't know about it, you just log in. You're like, oh,
Like
there was
I
an
don't know what's
event.
happening.
Something
But
happened
something
here.
was happening.
I smell outrage and also excitement.
I hate like whenever a little off topic, but whenever you get there's discourse, but you don't see the discourse, you just see the reactions to the discourse. So you have to like play like
Yes.
a reverse like detective game to try to figure out what the actual discourse is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, happens to me all the time.
You just
Like
see like
I just see I'll like something to happen and then I'll just see people reacting to the discourse and I'm like, I don't see none of this that y'all are talking about. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it's like like it was the same thing like when Sword and Shield came out and everybody was upset. I didn't really see most of it until people started talking about it like on my feed and I'm just like, I mean, at least unless I go look for it, I don't see it.
yeah, a lot of like discourse is like one person with like a decent following says something that a lot of people disagree with, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we need to have a conversation about this. It's like, no,
On Twitter?
like let them be wrong. Like, who cares? Like, you be excited for it. Like, who cares? Like, when people were kind of like shitting on, like, again, we're very off topic, but who cares? It's dead. E3 is dead, whatever.
Our podcast.
Rip E3.
But like when people were kind of shitting on the Diamond and Pearl remakes, I was like, oh, I think they're cute. But like, I wasn't gonna like argue with people on Twitter for what? Like, I think it's cute. Some people don't think it's cute. Whatever. Like,
People are allowed to have opinions. Imagine.
what?
You can have an opinion, but it must be the same as mine. I'm like,
Imagine just letting people enjoy things.
Guess what, BB? I will never let anyone enjoy anything. Just kidding. I have too much time on my hands. I must reply
much hate
to
in your
everyone. Imagine, I barely have time to play games that I want to play. Why would I be playing games that I don't want to play and then go out of my way to shit on them? Like, what? What kind of energy? Anyway,
I guess attention.
give it 5 minutes, maybe.
I always
I'll give it a little bit. I'll be like, okay, look, I don't like this. This is not me, but okay, y'all go ahead. And then I'm out after that.
literally. What is funny to me, like I always picture like whenever someone thinks that they're like unveiling like a spicy hot take, I'm always like in my head, I never reply because like why would I? But in my head I want to reply like, did you get the likes? Did you get the engagement you wanted? Did you know what I mean? Just like kind of infantilize them, just be like, did you get what you wanted, sweetie? Did you do okay, cool, like good for you. Like bless
Is
your
it
heart.
that I hope that they getting clowned in the retweets?
Oh, they most certainly are, and we love to see it. But anyway, what have we been playing and dedicating our attention to lately? Koga, do you want to
That's what
start
I'm
us
talking about.
off?
Oh Lord. Okay, so
Or
I'm
not,
gonna go
I
ahead and-
guess.
I'm gonna go. No, there's just multiple things, and I'm gonna start. I guess start off with the. Well, they're both new, but okay. So there's a reason why I was holding this and the picture that you probably saw on Twitter. House of the Dead. Excuse you. House of the Dead remake came out a few days ago. The game is good, so I'm not gonna sit there and act like, oh my god, this game sucks. Don't buy it. But gyro controls on the Joy-Con are ass. Now you can go into the options and change them to where they're like, playable, but by default, it's terrible. And you reset the aim thingy mabob by pressing in the analog. You're gonna be doing that a lot, regardless of which option you choose. I don't know what to say because I feel like they might be in like maybe a Nintendo issue because these things aren't that great. Let's just be honest. So it kind of felt like they just did the best that they could with what they were given. But that outside of that, game is great. The performance is all over the place, but it's the Switch, so it's to be expected. But it is a lot of fun to play. The music is good. The what do you call it? The voice acting is bad. That it's good because that's the way it should be. Because the old one was bad and cheesy, so it should definitely be that way. So outside of just that control issue, I think is great. I know I guess they found that it's supposed to be maybe going to PS4 at some point and probably PC. I can believe that because it's the same people who did the Panzer Dragoon remake, and that eventually went to PC like a few months later. That'll probably be like overall better for that. But I mean, the game was $25, so it's not like a big issue. It's just, yeah, but before you start it, just go, just know that your first maybe 15 minutes is going to be messing around with the controls and trying to get it to your liking. Because after that, it's fine. But if you're someone who's just going to go in and not look at anything, just, I'm ready to start playing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But you can just play with a controller, so you have to aim. You can just like use this the analog to move the thing around. Like if you're someone like me who grew up with like the Sega Saturn and we didn't have the stunner gun, you know what to expect out of that. It's about the same. Or you can hold on. You can use the gyro controls on this son of a bitch, which apparently is better. I haven't tried it. I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I don't know if I'm going to. Y'all can figure that out. But outside of that, game is great. And then I got Pinball FX. Oh my goodness. So Pinball FX is a series of games that's been out for like quite a few years. So they released in early access. The latest game before that was Pinball FX3. So they just decided to call this one Pinball FX, and it's in early access. So I started like paying more attention to this over the past month. They've been kind of making people mad for like the past year. Because there's like 100 or something tables on the previous game. On the new one, you're going to have to buy them all over again, which I can kind of understand. They moved it. It's going to be on Unreal Engine. Well, it is on Unreal Engine because it's there. So they had to redo it. Now, to a person who does not know anything about any of that, they're going to look at the table and be like, it looks the same instead of maybe just a few shadows, which kind of does. But, redoing it in a different engine and also ray tracing, lighting, also new physics is going to take time. So I can get it if they put a discount for people. They put a 33% discount on like legacy tables, which you would think, okay, maybe that's not bad. So the prices of this shit actually cost more into this game. But it's hard to figure that out because guess what else what else they did? They added a ticket system. So now it's like $10, 100 tickets. A table on sale like the legacy ones that they've made for themselves is like 26 tickets. So you got to do math.
Oh,
why are you making me do
not
math?
The math.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. So it's unfortunately going to be a way to where you can buy tables you want, but you're going to have tickets left over, which means you're kind of going to be spending more than you really want to spend. I know they said they wanted to change the system because they wanted to have crossplay and more so cross-platform. Well, more so the stores to where you can buy it on one and play it on all of it. Because I was usually been if you play the game on PC, it's your tables are on there. But if you got the Switch version, you have to buy them all over again. They say that they made the change so they can get around that, but like I don't know, it's kind of rough. And they announced last year that the tables you have to rebuy them. People are not thrilled about that at all, and it's kind of like now it's in early access. Their method of doing things isn't great. They also added a $15 subscription where you get all the tables except like the premium ones. These are ones I guess it's going to be like license, like Indiana Jones table, for example. That's like license on top of license on top of license on top of it's pretty bad. Licensing is a bitch. But that's like $15 for one table. I get it. But your everyday person isn't really going to understand why some tables are like maybe no more than 5 and this one is like 15. So they've had like all this go wrong, and this kind of blew up a little bit more than I thought it would. And then so it's in early access, and it has a few issues. It's not like the worst or anything like that. So at least you know what you're getting into. But I've been like playing it for like the past week. And for me, it runs decently. It doesn't, of course, the older games run better because it's on different, engine. So they have like a free rotation, which I actually like that they do this. Every day is going to be 2 tables that you can play like for free until the next day. So at least you can try tables out that way. Although they took out you being able to try out tables for like a minute and a half that you can do in the last game. So this has been a very interesting week on playing that, but it's very hard to like have like a conversation about it online because it gets chaotic really fast because a lot of people are upset. And then there's people who still want to support them because they are like there's other companies that are doing it, but like they are kind of like the top one right now. And if they fail at it, it's Visual Pinballs might go down the toilet, though there is like a Visual Pinball X you can play for free. I'm not going further into that. But yeah, that's taken up so much of my time that I haven't even played that much of the game of the year, which is, y'all know what it is. Tell me.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
And
I'm out of here. You know what it is. It is Elden Ring. God damn it.
Right.
I mean, look, Legend of Zelda got delayed, so this is like damn near guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah, I can see it.
but I've been still trying to go through that, and it's still a lot of fun. Still a lot of time, but a lot of fun. But that's mostly what I've been playing for like the past week.
All right. It's more than I have because I
Some
did.
juicy pinball drama. It was very exciting.
I know. A little
It was giving
commentary.
EA a little bit.
A little commentary on capitalism. We got it all. I have been playing Simpsons Hit and Run. That's why I mentioned it. It started as like a one-off thing on stream. Like, yeah, I should play it because y'all know I do this thing of like going through games from like every year since the year I was born until the current day. And so when I got to 2003, I think, I was like, oh, The Simpsons Hit and Run. Absolutely. And then I loved it. For people who don't know, it's essentially a fan of The Simpsons. This is my interpretation of it. This is my headcanon. A fan of The Simpsons played GTA and said, you know what? This would be great if I could play as the Simpsons characters. And that's Simpsons Hit and Run. It's lovely. It's funny. Obviously, the writing is really good. It's one of those games where obviously, like, it wouldn't be good unless the cast, like the actual cast, was in there. And they're there, so you get to hear a lot of iconic voice lines, new voice lines, little digs at, like, you know, video game criticisms and, like, you know, oh, who would enjoy video games? Video games are so silly. Oh my god, video games are so violent. Oh my god. And you're just like, I just ran over Marge in this game. Not okay, before anyone attacks me, it was an accident. She
I
wouldn't
don't
get
doubt
out.
that for a
I
second.
mean, it's a video game. You could do it on purpose. I would have done it.
But she didn't get out of my way. I love Marge, but she didn't. I was like, move, and she didn't. So bye. I'm also not known for my driving in video games. Like, I'm not
You're
good
kind of known
at
for the
that.
opposite. I would say.
Yeah. People who play Fortnite with me don't trust me to be the designated driver. So
Oh, no.
that tells you enough about my driving in video games. Although I feel like I'm pretty good at Mario Kart, so honestly, suck my ass.
But did
Anyway,
you turn off the assist on Mario Kart?
watch your mouth. I turned that shit off, okay? I may fall off the track a couple times, but my pride is intact. Not that there, you know what I mean? I'm just joking. I'm honestly just joking. There's nothing wrong with you if you play with the assisted driving on Mario Kart, but I'm just better than you. Maybe. I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, you do put yourself at a disadvantage if you get the star and then you have like the auto thing because it doesn't let you go under the grass. And if you have the star, you can go through the grass as if you're going on the road. So it can be kind of a disadvantage.
Or like if you want to do some spicy drifting, you know, like teetering on the edge of the map, like they don't let you do that.
Yeah, sometimes they'll like steer you away from the shortcuts, and it's like, I wanted to go there.
Right.
Let me live.
Yeah, for sure. And also, breaking news, Ruin Crown will never be joining us ever again after a very controversial statement left on our Twitch chat regarding my placements in their Mario Kart tournaments. And I will not say anything further than that. I'm just
As
joking.
ninth place girly, I endorse the statements of Ruin Crown.
And this is Spin's last episode. Oh my god. Do you have any parting? No, just kidding. No, what have you been playing, Spin?
Oh my god. I got back into 14. Okay, I took like a 6-month-long hiatus from 14 because I was poor. Because I was poor. And there's a new expansion coming out, and I was poor. But now I have the new expansion. I'm back on, and I'm living my best life in Eorzea.
Yes.
I'm loving Endwalker so far. I'm still like working my way through it. I'm gonna try to like not like speed run it, because I feel like for the past like few expansions, I've always been like get through the MSQ as fast as possible, and I just this time I just want to like hang on a second, just like chill vibe. I've been playing with the new Reaper class, loving that. Trying to level that up. That's been super fun. And I'm just like trying to like go back and like, you know, unlock stuff that I missed, because like turns out when you're laser focused on MSQ, you miss a lot of like things that you can unlock and do.
Huh.
So
who would have thought?
So I'm unlocking lots of like trials and dungeons and raids that I never unlocked. I'm like collecting like mounts and emotes that I never unlocked, and that's been fun. I love like collecting things in games. So you know like like having a collection of like mounts is very appealing to me. Right now I'm working on the Beast Tribe mounts. I want to start working on all the Beast Tribe mounts and get all of those. Because I feel like those are like there are a lot of like things that you have to buy in 14 that I'm not like I get it. I could get like doing one or two. I have the whales from Mog Station, so I can bother all of my friends with them. But I feel like I don't want to like spend a whole lot of money on mounts right now. I just want to like kind of like root through the game, like go through all the stuff I missed in my mad dash to straight through the MSQ, and just kind of like enjoy the scenery for a bit. And that's been super fun.
Nice. I mean, honestly, it's probably also a product of like, because you weren't, to give you a little bit of credit, even though you threw me under the Rainbow Road, to give you a little bit of
like
credit.
Like you threw Marge under the Rainbow Road?
You keep Marge's name out of your mouth. I'm kidding. You weren't just speeding through the MSQ for no reason. You were catching up. Like
I was trying to catch up.
There were like
so
5 or 6 expansions that you needed to go through. You were like, okay, I have shit to do. And now like there's none in the horizon. Obviously not announced. Not that we know of. Obviously, I'm sure the team is working away at the next expansion.
Yeah, 6.1's coming out really soon.
So yeah, it's good to hear you having a different experience with it now, where you're just kind of chilling and you're just kind of enjoying the game. Not that you weren't before, but it's a different experience.
Yeah, just a little easier going, exploring some side quests, having some fun, cute moments. I've been working on Hildebrand quests, and those are so goofy and ridiculous and fun. I love them. Like, for people who aren't familiar, the Hildebrand quest line is like, it's like this guy who's like a private investigator, but he's a buffoon. And it's just him like bumbling through these investigations and you actually solving the problems for him. It's great.
You playing Phoenix, right?
Very, very much so. It's all like very, it's so Japanese. Like the way it's like shot and like everybody's reactions are like so anime, and in the one I did the other day, his very buff, very old dad shows up naked and suplexes him into the ground. It's great.
Wait a minute. Wait. Maybe I get back into 14.
Suddenly you get back into 14 and do the Hildebrand quest line.
Maybe I speedrun 14.
It's just like so goofy. And it's so nice to see, like, because like a lot of times 14 is like very serious, and like especially like in Shadowbringers, and I'm assuming Endwalker, once I get further into it, it's like very serious and like very like you're at your computer and you're just like ah! So it's so fun to have just like a goofy moment.
Yes.
Just to laugh for a bit.
I love that for you. And honestly, we have to give you credit once again. You didn't bring up Animal Crossing, so
I didn't. I am still playing Animal Crossing,
I
but
mean, yeah.
14's been taking up most of my time.
I mean, yeah. But people, not that anyone has ever read you for it. It's kind of a self-reading. Like you kind of read yourself. You're like, "Oh, guess what? I'm doing Animal Crossing again." But I'm proud of you.
Oh. A heartfelt moment after us just like viciously tearing each other down. Oh.
And that's just gaming things for you, honestly. If you've been enjoying the episode and you made it this far, congratulations. I'm also very proud of you. Make sure to click on that follow button or that subscribe button or that 5-star review button if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you. We'll be back hopefully next week.
Tentatively next week.
I'm gonna pull a Sony and I'm gonna say we'll be back next week. Asterisk.
Asterisk.
And that's been the podcast. Let us know what you've been playing, what you've been enjoying recently, anything you're looking forward to, and if you agree with Koga on the game of the year. We'll see about that. We'll see.
You won't have to like it, but you gotta accept it.
I'll play it with a mod or two, maybe, with a cute little mod. Anyway, bye everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.